I believe that we should disband ICE. I support the impeachment of Kristi Noem. And I don't believe the Senate or the House or Congress should give another dime to ICE in this appropriations bill. With that, I would like to introduce an incredible colleague of mine who represents part of the city of Dallas, who served in the Texas legislature before, just as I did. That's my colleague, Jasmine Crockett.
I just want to paint a picture. Imagine being a free-willed, loving kiddo. And all of a sudden, one day, you're thrown on a plane. You're sent 1,500 miles away from home. And you don't understand what's going on. All you know is that your friends are gone. You have one set of pants, one shirt. Your dad washes your pants and your shirt out every single day and then hangs it by a unit to try to dry it overnight. You don't have your mom, who is currently 4 months pregnant with your sibling. And frankly, at this point in time, you've gotten depressed to the extent that you've stopped eating. This is the story of Liam. The sad reality of what we found when we went to Dilly was that Liam was not the only one. You have so many mothers in this facility. They didn't care about themselves. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. They were concerned about their children. We heard the same story over and over and over about how they were depressed, about how they weren't eating, about how children were throwing up. We went into a housing facility because I don't know that they were really trying to take us into one, but we went, and there was an area that was almost set up like a kids' play area. And we walked in, and as soon as we walked in, everyone kind of flooded towards us. And at some point in time, it seems like they told us that they were actually educating these kids. And the kids were like, no, we're not in school. We're not getting anything. And so my staffer is like, what's up? Because y'all told us they were getting this. They reopened this facility that had been shuttered under the Biden-Harris administration. They reopened this facility back in April of last year. They continue to house children there, and they are not getting any education. Their education is being thwarted. And then when pressed about it, they said, well, we're working on it. And I said, well, what exactly are you doing? They said, well, we're going to get some packets in here. And I said, what are the packets going to do? Are you going to have teachers? Well, we have somebody that has an educational background. Listen, I did criminal defense work, y'all. I'm here to tell you that the treatment that these people are suffering under right now is worse than those that are accused and sometimes even convicted of crimes. That's how bad it is. So people wonder, like, why is it that people are outraged? Why is it that the people in Minneapolis have taken to the streets? Because they are kidnapping their neighbors. We know that Trump lied. We know that all he does is lie. Because the first thing I wanted to know was, how many criminal convictions do y'all have? How bad are these folks? Oh, no. You can't be here and have a record. Y'all, I can't tell you how many innocent, precious children we talk to. We talked to a 16-year-old, and one of my staffers says, man, the level of maturity on that kid. That kid had about 4 younger siblings and his mom. They had been there for 8 months. When we walked in, they gave us a packet, and it said the average detention time was 28 days. We didn't meet anybody who had been there for less than probably 2 months. This is not right. And when I asked the person that is over the attorneys that are there to represent the government, I asked them, I said, what is happening? You've been here long enough. You're a government employee. You've been here through various administrations. And frankly, he said, the difference is somehow they're trying to prosecute these cases while keeping people in custody. That is not what they normally would do. That is what this administration has decided to do. They have decided to play with people mentally. They have decided to tell people things like, well, you're not going to be able to see your kids if you do this, or we're not going to do this if you do that, or we're not going to give you your court dates. This is terrible what is happening. And I really don't know what it's going to take for there to be a wake-up call in this country, but I am here to tell you that we are supposed to be better than this. We talk to people that are saying, you know what, I'm from Cuba, as one woman said, and she was crying profusely saying, and they are sending me to Ecuador. What are we doing? So I'm here standing with my colleague because no, we won't fund this nonsense. We both voted no on that bill. We are asking our colleagues in the Senate to do their part. Stand up for people. Stand up and show them what humanity looks like. We know this administration doesn't care about us, but frankly, when people literally are talking about the water that they are drinking is not safe, if you allow this to continue to happen, then you are complicit. We have to do our part as the legislative branch. We have the power of the purse, not the president. It is time for us to flex our power. So thank you so much for being here. I am now going to turn it over to my colleague who leads up the Congressional Progressive Caucus and is representing a portion of San Antonio as well as Austin. Greg Kassar.